Hi, this is Barry here, and you're very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And today we're going to have a look at 3 ways to sell more books from the back matter of your book. Now, as you're probably well aware, when your reader comes to the end of your book and is about to close it up, or they come to the end of the book on the e-reader and they're about to switch it off, that is the point where, you have to get your foot in the door. You have to push for them to buy your next book, or get over to your email list, or, get onto your email list, or over to your Facebook page, or whatever action you want them to take. The last thing you want them to do is to close that book and not come back to you. And because of that, then you need to have something at the back matter of your book. You can't just have some kind of small thing saying, "Oh, join me on Facebook" or something. You need a stronger call to action. You need to, to grip their attention and keep them on you for as long as possible. And you need to have something strong at the back of your book that's going to do that. So that's what we're going to cover in this podcast episode. So the first thing I would highly recommend is to have a free sample of your next book as at the back of your book. Now, how you want to do that is totally up to you, whether you want to have a link where somebody can come over to your opt-in page on your website and they can get, whatever it is, a free sample, whether it's a short story, or maybe it is, what you could do is maybe have the first book up for sale but offer the second book for free, the second book in the series, because when someone gets over there and they've read the first book, there's a good chance that they're going to say, well, I need to know what's happening in the second book. Oh yeah, he's giving it away for free, or she's giving it away for free. There's no way I'm not going to jump over there and get the second book for free when I can do it now. So maybe you should have maybe a free sample of that book. Now, whether you want to, like, I remember when I was doing a fiction series for kids, it was a Minecraft fiction series. What I did was I closed up every book with the opening chapter of the following book, and then of course, with it being the first chapter, there was always kind of climax. There was always somebody hanging off a cliff, or there was something there that the person, when they got to say, geez, I need to get over, I need to find out what happens next. And again, I would have the purchase link at the end of that sample. And of course, because of that, then I had these people in a kind of a funnel that they kind of went from book 1 to book 2, book 3. And I got to a stage where I had 17 books in a series. And again, I found the majority of our readers would kind of go from one book to the next book, because I finished and closed off that first book with the opening chapter of the next one. And of course, I had it on a climax. Now, depending on how your chapter is written for the following book, you could cut that chapter short at the climax, or an action scene or something like that. Once you have that person's attention, the grip, they're going to want to find out what happens next, and they're going to jump over to wherever your next book is, whether it's on sale on Amazon, or whether you're giving it away free on your website or whatever. So the first thing I'd highly recommend you do is to have some kind of sample of your work. Now, possibly maybe you are already working on the section fiction book, and the second one in the series, and you haven't got it done yet. Maybe you could, rather than thinking, well, I have nothing to give them, put up the first chapter of that book there, even though it's not finished. Clean it up, do whatever editing you need, and make that first chapter strong as possible. And then once that person gets over to the opt-in page, you say, get on to my announcement list when this book is going to be released, and you'll be the first one to notice. You'll be the first one to know about it. You can get it at maybe half price or whatever it is, and you're going to have to jump on everybody else. You're going to find out how the second book, how it finishes off from that climax that the first book finished on. And by having even just a free chapter there, you can get those people over onto your email list, get them on an opt-in page aside, and get them on your email list, because again, once that book comes out, then the larger the audience you have on your email list, the more buyers you're going to have then too, the more of a street team you're going to have, and the more people you can help promote you when that book comes out. So don't think that because you haven't got the second book in the series done yet, that you can't use what you have at the moment as a free sample or something just to get people over there. Another thing then you could do is to give entry into a competition. Maybe you haven't got the second book, or maybe you're not going to do a follow-up book. Maybe you're thinking of going off in a completely different series, or whatever it is. There's no reason why you can't have some kind of competition going, where you can offer maybe box sets of previous books you've written, where you maybe are going to give maybe Amazon vouchers, or maybe a Kindle away, or something like that, or anything that you can think of. How are you going to do it? Maybe you're going to dedicate the next book to the winner of the competition, or whatever it is. Come up with ideas. They don't have to be kind of money making ones. Maybe you feel, maybe if I give away maybe money vouchers, I'm going to attract the wrong people, and I'm going to, they're not going to be genuine readers, and what I want is genuine readers. So maybe you could have a look at maybe dedicating a book to the next reader, or maybe a competition where you name the lead character after the competition winner. Now again, whether you have a website to do that, you could set up maybe a dedicated Facebook page where all the competition winners go over there and they share whatever that post is on the Facebook page, and once they share it, then they are added into the competition. Now again, because somebody could be reading your book maybe today, somebody could be reading that book maybe 6 months from now, you're going to be finding people maybe are coming to that competition at different times. So that's why I recommend, maybe if you are doing a Facebook post, have something maybe that is something maybe that's pinned at the top of your page. There's going to be a dedicated competition page or whatever it is. So then when those people who enter your competition, maybe you could maybe set it up monthly. So what you do is you would go back at the end of each month, find all the entries that were in that month and pick a competition winner. And then next month, then again at the end of the month, go back then and have a look at the people who entered in month 2 and pick a competition winner from there. And then maybe month 3, month 4. So each time you return to that page over and over again, because I said you don't know when that person's going to be reading your book. They could be reading it today, they could be reading it 6 months from now, and if they get over to that Facebook page and that competition is down, or they're going to be disappointed maybe, and you don't want that that reader leaving that Facebook page saying, oh god, I missed that competition, it was so great, I wish I had got into it. So what you could do is have kind of a rolling competition where each month you're going to pick a winner, and no matter what time that person gets to that Facebook page, that competition is going to be live. So another thing you could do then too, maybe if you wanted to have maybe that traffic going to your website rather than going to a Facebook page, maybe you haven't got a Facebook page, again you could do that. You could set up a dedicated page on your blog or on your website where all the competitions winner could go over. You could use maybe a giveaway website like rafflecopter.com. That's rafflecopter.com, and let them do all the heavy lifting for you. Let them do all the competition. And with a website like a Rafflecopter, what you can do is you can set up special features that somebody has to share the blog post to get an entry, and maybe if they share the blog post and maybe they tweet about the competition, that gives them 2 entries into the competition. And you can set up all these different rules by using a website like Rafflecopter. And again, it lets them do all the kind of activity for you, rather than you can concentrate on your writing and they can do all the competition work for you. And again, by having Rafflecopter, it's a kind of social thing then, so you don't know how it's going to snowball out. Somebody could share it something, and then all of a sudden your competition takes off and you reach a far wider audience maybe than if you were doing it on your own. So having something like that maybe could be worth looking at. And again, what I highly recommend then too, if you have that page on your own website, on your own blog, make sure to have the Facebook pixel installed on that page, because you don't know, maybe somebody might come over to that page and say, oh, okay, well, no, I'm not interested, and they go away. But what you can do is, by having that Facebook pixel installed on that page, you can build an audience of those people. Maybe you don't have an email list, and maybe you are interested in doing maybe Facebook ads later on then to sell your next book or whatever. So there's no reason why you can't have that Facebook pixel on that page. And over time, when you do set up your Facebook ads, you have gathered all that information in that last 6 months or whatever it is until you're ready for that ad, and you can build a custom audience then to cater to that audience. And when it does come to selling that book, the audience that you need to be tracking, because these are the people that have got to the end of your book, who've clicked that link and gone over to your Facebook page or gone over to your website. And even though you mightn't have their email addresses, by having that Facebook pixel, you can target them again in future and say, oh, by the way, book 2 is now being released, or get on quick now and get book 2 at 50% off, or whatever it is. And you can target those people through Facebook ads. So not only should you have that page, but make sure that you have the Facebook pixel added on it again too for future marketing. Another thing then you could do too, if you didn't want to go down the competition route or whatever it is just to get simple likes for your Facebook page. Maybe you haven't got something maybe set up, but what you could do, maybe you haven't got maybe the second book in the series, but maybe you have all these kind of DVD extras that went about in how your book came about. Maybe you got illustrations done of the characters in your book. Maybe you hired somebody to do that kind of, maybe if a sci-fi book that you've written. Maybe you've hired somebody maybe to do a beautiful illustration of your spaceship flying through space, or maybe you have whatever it is. You may have photographs, illustrations, all these things that gone into how you created the book. Maybe you could have a video series where you're talking to to camera, and you're explaining to the reader how the idea of the book came up, why you plotted it the way you did. Because sometimes, it's nice that maybe you've read a book and you say, God, I wonder where he got that idea from, or where that character came from. And by you having all these DVD extras over on your Facebook page, when they come to the end of your book, you could say, oh, would you like to know, I've done an interview about the book, or I have illustrations, or I have all these extras that will go with the book, but they're over on the Facebook page. If you'd like to click here now and go straight over on the Facebook page, and then once they go over the Facebook page and they have a look at the illustrations, or they look at the freebies, or whatever it is that you're giving away, the videos, where you're talking to camera, or you're being an interview or something like that, once they're over there, again, you have the Facebook pixel on that page. You can target that person then later on, then when it comes to, marketing them then with Facebook ads, or you can just simply get them to like your Facebook page, Again, once they have that Facebook page, then to, you haven't lost them forever. Maybe you haven't got their email address. Maybe they don't want to give you an email address, or don't want to get an opt-in page. But by having them, as part of your community on your Facebook page, you can target those people again in future when it comes to book 2's being released. And it's a simple thing as just having, additional content that you can have at the end of the book. Again, if you haven't got the second book written, there's nothing stopping you doing a couple of interviews, maybe even supplying maybe a short story of, of character, like a prequel or something, or maybe some character stepped out of the book and went away to do something, and there's no reason why maybe you couldn't write a quick short story of what that character did, and again offer it away as a freebie over at the Facebook page. By having all those different things, as I said before, the last thing you want is your reader to come to the end of your book, close it, switch off the e-reader, and just to totally forget about you, or to go to a completely different author and get into their funnel then, and once they're in over there, then they're going to be very hard to get back. So this is going to be your chance to get your foot in the door. But if you do have something there, not just kind of a limp kind of, oh, click here to follow me on Facebook, or something like lukewarm like that, you need to have a strong call to action, whether it's the chapter ending midway through on a climax, or a short story over on your Facebook page, or a competition or something like that. Once you have those things in place, you can build that audience, you can target them later on then, as I said, with the Facebook pixel or whatever it is, and you're guaranteed that when your second book comes out, or whatever work you have out coming after that, it's going to be very easy to keep in contact with them people because of it. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did and learned something from it, I would really appreciate it if you could just send a quick tweet out on Twitter, or mention it in Facebook, and tell people what you've learned from it, or just direct people over to the podcast. I would really appreciate it. Now, if you are a fiction writer or non-fiction writer, and you want to sell more books, as many books as possible, I highly recommend you come over to the WriteCome site. That's WriteCome.com, because I have a great report over here at the moment, and it is called Words, Wisdom and Winning. And inside you'll find tips, tricks on promotion, how to save money doing your promotions, and all the different mistakes that I've learned, and different things that you can put into use, which is going to help you to sell more books, build a bigger audience, or whatever it is that you need to do with that book that you're planning to write. So as always, thanks for sharing time with me again today. It's really appreciated, and take care and have a great day. Bye bye.